Most people think a wagging tail means one thing: a happy dog. Friendly, safe, relaxed. It's what we've been told since we were kids. But for many of us, there's been a moment that didn't quite fit that story. A moment where you saw a dog wagging, but something about it felt off. A moment where a dog was wagging, but the second you reached out to pet them, they snapped. It's confusing. It's even a little bit heartbreaking. Because we love our dogs, and we want to believe they're always happy to see us. But that one simple belief, that a wag equals a smile, is the biggest reason we unintentionally misunderstand them. Because dogs do not wag their tails only when they're happy. Sometimes a wagging tail is more like a nervous laugh, or a person tapping their foot because they're anxious. It's not a happiness switch, it's a signal of emotional intensity. And for a dog, intensity can mean many things. Excitement, yes, but also stress, uncertainty, frustration, and tension. The problem is, when we only see the movement in the tail, we stop reading the rest of the dog. We keep approaching when they're uncomfortable. We keep petting them when they're just trying to tolerate us. We miss the stiff posture, the tight mouth, and the quiet warnings they're desperately trying to give us. The tail never tells the full story. The body does. In this video, we're going to look past the myth. You're going to learn what that movement actually means, why we've all been misreading it, and how to tell the difference between a dog who is truly relaxed and a dog who is just trying to manage the pressure. Because once you understand this, you stop asking, is the tail wagging? And you start asking the question that actually matters for your dog's well-being. What emotion is driving that wag? Let's break it down. The biggest myth about dog behavior. Humans love simple explanations. One behavior, one meaning. We want to believe that a smile always means happiness, and a wagging tail always means a friendly dog. It's a comforting thought, but the reality is far more complex. Dogs don't have a simple happiness switch. Their communication is layered. The truth is, a wagging tail doesn't tell you how a dog feels. It only tells you how strongly they feel it. It's a sign of emotional activation, energy surging through their nervous system. Think of it like a revving engine. That energy could be fueled by pure joy, but it could just as easily be fueled by anxiety, frustration, or fear. A dog playing in the yard wags. A dog guarding a fence wags. A dog seconds away from a bite wags too. This is where we make our biggest mistakes. We see movement and mistake it for an invitation. But friendliness isn't just a tail movement. It's a whole body state. It's soft muscles, fluid movement, and relaxed eyes. Without looking at the full picture, we aren't actually listening to our dogs. We're just hearing. One loud word in a much longer, quieter sentence. The different tail. Wags most people misread. Not all tail wagging looks the same. And once you learn the differences, you stop seeing a wagging tail. You start seeing emotional states. Because every wag carries information. Speed, height, stiffness, range of motion, and what the rest of the body is doing at the same time. That combination tells the real story. 1. The loose full body wag. This is the wag people imagine when they think of a happy dog. The tail moves wide and freely. The hips move with it. Sometimes the entire back end sways side to side. The body stays soft. The dog moves naturally. Nothing looks rigid or forced. This is usually social comfort. A dog that feels relaxed and safe. And notice something important. In this kind of wag, the movement doesn't stop at the tail. The whole dog looks loose. That's the difference. 2. The high, stiff wag. This is one of the most misunderstood wags. The tail sits high. The movement becomes shorter and tighter. Sometimes it vibrates quickly instead of sweeping naturally. People often interpret this as confidence or excitement, but very often it's stressful. The dog is highly alert, highly stimulated, and depending on the situation, that stimulation can shift into confrontation very quickly. Now look at the rest of the body. The muscles tighten. The posture becomes tall and rigid. The mouth may close. Movement slows down. This is not relaxed friendliness. This is pressure building in the body. And this is the wag people ignore right before saying, but the tail was wagging. 3. The fast, tiny wag. This wag is common in overstimulated dogs. The tail moves quickly, but with very little range. Almost nervous. You often see it when dogs are unsure but excited at the same time. Meeting strangers. Entering chaotic environments. Experiencing too much attention. The dog looks emotionally overloaded. And that's important because overstimulation is not the same thing as happiness. A dog can be emotionally activated without feeling comfortable. Horror, the low tail wag. A lower wag often signals uncertainty or appeasement. The tail stays lower on the body. The movement is cautious, sometimes hesitant. You'll often see this paired with lowered posture, curved movement, ears slightly back, avoiding direct eye contact. This dog is trying to communicate peacefully, trying to avoid tension, not inviting more pressure. Faith, the slow wag. This one surprises people the most. A slow wag is often a dog assessing a situation, thinking, processing, not fully comfortable yet. And because it looks calm, people assume the dog is relaxed. But relaxed dogs usually move fluidly. A slow, deliberate wag often means the dog hasn't decided how they feel yet. They're evaluating, watching, trying to understand what happens next. And this is why tail wagging becomes dangerous when isolated from the rest of the body. Because the tail doesn't tell you happy or unhappy. It tells you emotion is happening. The rest of the body tells you what kind. Remember what we said at the start. The tail is not a smile. It's one signal inside a much larger message. And by the end of this video, you're going to be able to read that message. Not just the tail, the whole dog. So stay with me, because the next part is where most owners finally understand why they keep getting it wrong. Why people get bitten by friendly dogs. This is where misunderstandings become dangerous. Because most people don't get bitten by dogs that look aggressive. They get bitten by dogs they believed were friendly, dogs with wagging tails. And usually when owners describe the moment afterward, they say the same thing. There was no warning, but there almost always was. The problem is that the warning didn't look the way people expected, because they were only watching the tail, not the body attached to it. A dog may wag while showing, a stiff posture wail, eye-lip licking, freezing tight facial muscles, weight shifted forward. Those are stress signals, conflict signals. But the moving tail distracts people from seeing them. And dogs often continue wagging because they're emotionally activated, not because they're relaxed. That distinction matters more than most people realize. The most accurate dog readers don't focus on one behavior. They read patterns. They look at the eyes, the mouth, breathing posture, movement speed, muscle tension, how fluid the dog looks overall, because relaxed dogs look soft. Everything flows naturally. The body curves. The movements stay loose. The face remains relaxed. Tense dogs look different, sharper, still, rigid, even before anything obvious happens. And once you learn to see that difference, you realize something important. Most dogs are trying very hard to avoid conflict. They are constantly adjusting their behavior to keep situations stable. The wag is often part of that adjustment, not proof of comfort. A simple way to read tail wagging correctly. The next time you see a dog wagging their tail, stop focusing on the tail first. Instead, ask yourself, does the rest of the dog look soft or tense? That one question changes everything. Look at the mouth. Is it loose and relaxed, or tightly closed? Look at the movement. Is the dog fluid and natural, or stiff and controlled? Look at the eyes. Are they blinking softly, or staring intensely? And most importantly, can the dog disengage easily? Relaxed dogs can shift in and out of interactions smoothly. Tense dogs often look locked into the moment. That's the difference people miss. When you see a tense wag, don't add more pressure. Most people do the opposite. They move closer, reach out, get louder, try harder to interact. But pressure increases tension. Instead, slow down, give space, soften your posture, avoid leaning over the dog. Let the dog choose whether to engage further, because dogs communicate best when they feel they have options. And the moment a dog feels trapped, pressured, or overwhelmed, behavior changes quickly. Your goal is not to stop the wag. It's to understand the emotional state behind it. A relaxed dog doesn't just wag differently, they exist differently. Once you start noticing the softness in their eyes and the fluid way their body moves, the way you see every dog will change. It's okay if you've misread your dog in the past. We've all been there, trying to speak a language we were never truly taught. But today, you're starting a new, deeper conversation. By looking past the tail, you're finally listening. You're giving your dog the space to be honest about how they feel. Ironically, when you give a dog the room to be uncomfortable, that's exactly when they start to feel the most secure with you. Trust isn't built on a wag. It's built when your dog realizes, you finally understand me. A wagging tail isn't a smile, it's a voice. Now that you know how to hear it, you can respond to what your dog actually feels instead of what you assume they felt. I'd love to hear your stories. Was there a moment where this clicked for you? Drop a comment below. I read every single one. If this helped you, share it with someone who still believes the myth. I'll see you in the next video.